If you're like me, you spend a lot of energy just trying to remember things, which is a shame because experts will tell us our brains already know how to do this. So here's what I'm talking about. Over 25 years of hosting the Intelligence for Your Life radio and TV programs, I've learned something that has finally changed the way I think about memory. So memory doesn't fail us because we're broken. It fades out when our nervous system feels rushed. And I felt that more than once, including on stage behind a grand piano trying to remember songs. The brilliant people with the smartest minds that I've interviewed, well, they don't force anything. They create the right conditions for remembering to happen on its own. And one of the most powerful tools that I've learned to use isn't digital. It's not new. It's just paper. I'll show you what I mean. And I can prove this all the way through. Researchers at the University of Valencia, they pulled data from 470,000 people, and what they found was powerful. When we read on paper, we remember up to 8 times more than when we read on screens. Not because paper is magical, it's because screens put the brain into scan mode. Paper slows our eyes down, it calms our nervous system, and it lets information move into long-term memory the way it's supposed to. Again, when we read on paper, we remember up to 8 times more than when we read on screens. All right, here's another tool, one you can use in under 30 seconds. Psychologist Dr. Caitlin Tondo studies something called bilateral eye movement. Here's how it works. You close your eyes and you slowly move them side to side or in gentle circles. Try it. Eyes closed. Move your eyes from side to side or in slow circles. That's it. Dr. Tondo says these eye movements mimic REM sleep, the deep phase of sleep when your brain formats and stores memories. I've started doing this for just 30 seconds right after reading something important. It feels like pressing save on what I just read. And you and I know instinctively that memory doesn't just live in the brain, it lives in the nose. The sense of smell has a direct line to the memory centers of your brain. No filters, no detours. Studies on lavender, for example, specifically a compound called linalool, show that it lowers stress receptors in the nervous system. And cortisol, the stress hormone that you know about, is one of memory's biggest enemies. So when you pair a scent with learning, like lavender or rosemary, you create what's called a sensory anchor. Later, when you smell those scents once again, your brain exhibits powerful recall. Not magic, it's biology. And by the way, if this is making sense so far, you'd be doing me and the team a big favor. Just tap the like button that tells the algorithm this is worth sharing with more people. This could be helpful. All right, next, hydration and memory. People who listen to my radio show, they know I am always harping on this. We lose water just by breathing all day long. And as we get older, our thirst response drops by nearly 40%. It's a big number, so you can actually be dehydrated, not even know it. I see my grandkids reaching for their water bottles all day. Nobody has to tell them to drink. Me, I have to set a timer on my smartphone. It's very clear that our thirst response changes dramatically as we get older. And here's what that does to the brain. Research tells us even mild dehydration will slow the electrical signaling between neurons. How does it manifest? It feels like searching for a word known as tip of the tongue syndrome. It shows up as forgetting a name, losing your train of thought mid-sentence. Does it sound familiar? Well, in my experience, most of what people call brain fog is not cognitive decline, it's a fluid imbalance. And sometimes the fix is very simple: water, just water. All right, next, osoji and mental space. In Japan, there is a practice. It's called osoji. It means cleaning to make space for what's next. And it turns out the brain works the same way. When your environment is cluttered, your brain is processing noise. It's working overtime just to filter things out. But when you clear away one small surface, just do some mild decluttering before you sit down to learn something new, retention improves. Bottom line, if you want better memory, forget the tricks and remember that you can have a sharper mind and better memory with paper, water, the right scent, and eye movement, and a decluttered workspace. Not hacks, not tricks, just biology. And sometimes that's enough. So these tips and others on this channel are part of my longevity network: brain health and memory, fitness, nutrition, stress reduction, sleep. And if you'd like to see where you stand with your overall health and longevity, and perhaps where you need to improve, just take my new 3-minute longevity scorecard test. You'll find it pinned in the comments on this channel.